Hello, my sweet friends. This is Tracy. Welcome to another wreath video. Now, in this wreath video, I am going to be showing you how I put together this country style farm fresh pumpkins wreath. I am going to go through and show you what supplies I used, as well as other tips of what I do to make these fun country style wreaths. All right, guys, let's go in and get started. And I'm so glad you're here.
I'm starting with a 14-inch wire frame, as well as these three 10-inch mesh from Hobby Lobby. Now, on the snowball mesh and the burlap mesh, I rolled those out together and cut them at 16 inches because that just kind of saves me a little bit of time, but every wreath maker does theirs a little bit different. For the orange and white burlap, I will roll that out at 14 inches because I consider it a specialty mesh and it is a little bit thicker, so I'll roll that out to 14 inches. Now, to make my cruffles, what I do is I bend over one side and then I bend over the other side. That kind of helps with the fraying, and then I just gather it in the middle. Then I clip it. And so I have these three together. And what I do is for the orange and the white, the specialty, I kind of alternate where I put them in so that they're not all in the same space in my wreath, so that it has a more of a variety. So then I just make up all of my bundles, and then this is how they look. And so then I have them all ready to go when I put them on my wreath. And for this particular wreath, I put 21 bundles of this 3 mesh on this 14-inch frame. So I have some tan pipe cleaners in this 14-inch frame, and I just start somewhere, and what I do is just kind of put that on 2 rings of the wire frame. I always put it on 2 rings, and so then I put 1 bundle of mesh in there. Then I twist it a couple times just to hold it, and then I move to the outer 2 rings, put another bundle, and then I work in a zigzag pattern all the way around until I got 21 bundles of mesh on this wreath frame. I'll just continue to put these bundles on my wreath frame until I get all the way around. Now, if you need a little bit more instruction of how I put this mesh on the frame, you can check out my Wreath Basics tutorial on my main channel in my popular playlist, because I do have a playlist for that. Okay, so then now I'm going to move on to the ribbon. Now, I have 3 sets of ribbon in this wreath, and so for the first bundle I'm using these 2.5-inch ribbons. Now, the window pane came from Hobby Lobby, as well as the burlap with the buffalo check on the edges, and then the white stripe came from Craft Outlet. And I just like to make my bundles like this, just crisscross them using my tiny attacher, just to put a little bitty staple in the middle of the bundle. This is the next set of ribbons. The 2.5-inch burlap with the pumpkins came from Craft Outlet. The 1.5-inch ribbon, orange and white, came from Hobby Lobby. And the orange and white 1.5-inch I cut at 12 inches because I want it just a little bit shorter than my 2.5. Now, this is the next bundle that I'm going to put together. The 2.5-inch ribbon came from Craft Outlet, and that black with the buffalo check on the edges came from Walmart last year during the Christmas season. And so I just put my bundles together like that, again using my little tiny attacher just to put a small staple in the middle. So then I have everything ready to go. I also tied some knots of raffia that is going to go in one of the bundles. I'm going to make some bows for one of the bundles, and so I have this 1.5-inch orange ribbon that I got from Craft Outlet. I measure it out to 30 inches, and then I just make 2 loops, just a simple bow, just kind of finagle that there, staple it in the middle, and so then I have 7 bundles of each. Yeah, 7 bundles to equal 21 sets of ribbon that I'm going to put in this wreath. And I like to put a lot of ribbon in my wreaths, and so I put a lot of stuff in my wreaths. And so I have, like I said, I have 7 sets of each of these. So then when I start putting on my ribbon onto my wreath, what I do is I figure out which way I'm going to start, which one I'm going to start with, which I did the burlaps with the raffia. So I just start somewhere, then I go in a zigzag pattern. I go to the next set, then to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, until I get all of my ribbon on. And that is really how I do it. And then I just cut, once I get my ribbon in there, I twist my pipe cleaners. I cut that off just a little bit. Then I bend down the extra to secure it so that everything stays nice. So I will continue to add my ribbon, putting it on my wreath until I get it all on. Then I just make sure that none of the tails are tucked under. I just fluff all of my ribbons out and make it look really nice. For this sign, I'm using this Farm Fresh pumpkin sign that I got from the Dollar Tree. Now, I got this last year maybe, so I've had it, in my stash. And I want to enhance it a little bit by just adding some squiggles and some doodles, which I like to do. And so I'm just using some white acrylic paint for that. And then once all of that dries, then what I'll do is I'll just give it a coat of gloss varnish, because I do want to, make sure that everything is protected. Now for the top where that little stem is, I took off that green leaf because I was going to put a bow on it, so I didn't want that. And then I just used some burlap that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I just covered up that stem just to give it that rustic touch. Then what I'm going to do is make a bow, and I was so excited that I found some of this green ribbon from Hobby Lobby. I cut off a couple of pieces of that. And then also for the to add some more rusticness to the bow, I just took off a piece of that burlap ribbon, cut it in half, and then that is going to be on the bow in my bow as well. I'm also using some of this fine Excelsior that I like to use. I just glued that on top of there. And then I also made a raffia bow that is going to be the center of right where my pumpkin stem where it ends right there. And I just love the way that just turned out. I love that so much. Okay, guys, to attach my sign to my wreath, I use these 1-inch cable ties that I get from Amazon. And so what I do is I glue them to the back of the sign. I use E6000 as well as hot glue, and then also some pipe cleaners. And then I just use some upholstery. Well, I just have one of these I found a pack of upholstery needles from Walmart. I just use the one that I want, and then that helps me thread the pipe cleaner through the deco mesh, and then I attach the pipe cleaner to my frame. And so that's how I attach my signs to my wreaths. Now for the back of the sign, for the hanger, I like to use the grapevine wire that I get from Hobby Lobby or wherever craft store. Amazon has it as well. And then also I like to cover the back of my wreaths with these placemats that I get from Hobby Lobby during the fall season, because they look really nice. And I just attach that placemat with some pipe cleaners.
And I also added some orange pip berries that I got from my favorite store, Hobby Lobby. I love the way that this wreath turned out, and I'm so glad that so many friends love these styles of wreaths as well. If you do like those, you can check out my playlist for more country style wreath ideas and also wreath basics tutorials. Guys, thanks so much for watching. God bless. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.